lighting's good. Okay. I almost feel coffee everywhere. You guys are so silly. And we are live, so don't like pick your nose or anything. I see y'all coming in. Good morning. You gotta move your hand. Sit up. Good morning. Good morning. I know, my special guest. Good morning. How about that? My special guest. Good morning. I see y'all coming in. Good morning. Good morning, Hoop Love. Good morning, Valerie. Good morning, Wit. Good morning, Tamara. How y'all doing this morning? Good morning. Welcome. Are you not gonna smile? He looks so serious. You gotta sit up. You gotta sit up so they can see you and talk to you. This was your idea. Good morning. Good morning. Well, this was Judah J's idea. Today just so happens to be his 8th birthday. And when I was talking about guests for the show, he said, Mom, I think you should allow me to be on Coffee and Conversations for my birthday. And so Josiah just kind of happened to get pulled into this. And so we're saying happy birthday to Judah J. And before I introduce them and before I talk more, very special guests, before I talk a little bit more about them and what we're going to talk about today, I want to give you the scripture for today. Welcome to this edition of Coffee and Conversations. I am LaKisha Johnson, your host, and I'm going to introduce you to these hosts. Go share the video. Oh, thank you. Go share the video live right now. Last week we started talking about grief during the holidays, and today what we want to do is talk about grief from a kid's perspective, and how they dealt with losing their dad and being my kids and just all the different things that have happened in this process. I think if they share their story, that it'll help some kid who is dealing with grief, or even help a parent. I'm sorry, I'm sharing stuff on page, or even help a parent who is dealing with grief, or how to help that, how to help that parent also deal with grief. And deal with their kids with grief. That's super, super important. So I wanted to make sure that they told their story. They were excited about telling their story. They're a little nervous, so be gentle with them. Thank you for Judah J. You're getting happy birthdays. You're getting happy birthdays. So I want to make sure we tell the story. I'm sorry. Here I go. Okay, our scripture for today is Psalms 127:3, and it simply says, children are a heritage from the Lord, and offspring a reward for them. So no matter how crazy they act, your children are an inheritance and a reward for the Lord. And I definitely have been blessed by mine. These are the bottom of my half. This is Josiah Johnson, who turned 13 in September. Say hi. Hello. He's nervous. And this is Judah. And Judah J is the baby of the clan. And you can't be nervous. And you say hi. Hi. And so they want to welcome you to Coffee and Conversations also. And I want you to share this video right now as they tell a little bit of their story and what has happened to them during the process. Grief for kids at the holiday season just manifests really differently than it does as an adult. As adults, sometimes we're able to articulate more. Sometimes we're able to share more. Sometimes we're able to process this out. Well, as kids are not always able to tell their stories. Kids are not always able to share what they need to share with you. And so sometimes kids will act out, or sometimes kids will display their grief in different manners. I remember when Jermaine died, Judah was just 4. And although Jermaine died in June, by the time that we got to December, Judah was having a very hard time. And I remember for a few weeks in December, he had stopped eating. And I mean, like literally, he was not eating. His stomach was hurting all the time. He was very sad as we got closer to his birthday, as we got closer to Christmas. And at that time, I had not put them into counseling. He had gone to school. We had never been in school before. We were a homeschool family. So there was so many different transitions of what was happening in our life. He was used to being at home with his dad. Even though he loves his mom intensely, he is definitely a dad's boy. And so he had made a lot of transitions at 4 years old. And I remember seeing him go through these transitions. And I remember how much my heart was breaking seeing him go through these transitions. So I'm going to start with Josiah first. And I'm just going to ask him, what was it like for you when dad left? What were you feeling like? You got to lean this way.
It was kind of like a lot happened at one point.
Okay.
And it looked like everything just kind of was going downhill.
What do you mean everything was going downhill?
He lost.
Daddy left. Yeah.
Nothing was the same. US just kind of like came out, like left a little bit. Like
I was checked out.
We had partial you.
Oh. So you only had part of me. And so what was that like to have your dad gone? And then I was dealing with my grief. And I was, as you said, you had part of me. I'm trying not to cry. You had part of me. Part of me had checked out. So what did that feel like for you? And I told you get to be honest, okay?
I mean, it felt hard. And I know it probably was not as hard as me as it probably was for Jaleel. Because I know that was still a lot, trying to keep up with us too.
Because he was having to keep up with y'all.
And deal with himself.
Yeah, and the grief.
Yeah.
And he's being real honest. I told them they get to be transparent. I had checked out, and I told you guys that, and I've shared that with my story. I had checked out mentally and emotionally, and my 17-year-old at the time was bearing the burden of a lot of that. He was having to be responsible for them, make sure they were eating. I was there, but I really wasn't there. Like, my grief had just consumed me and overwhelmed me. So what kind of thoughts were you having? Like, what kind of things were you thinking about?
I mean,
it's okay.
It's
not gonna hurt me. I know they're afraid to say what they feel because they think it doesn't hurt me, but I think their story will help another kid. It's not gonna hurt me. Go ahead.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't mad, but like, I wanted you to be there, and you like were missing sometimes, like
emotionally, physically. Right? And so that left you guys in a very weird space. And we've talked about that. We've done the work on that. And we know the gaps that occurred because of that. So it was a hard space. So Judah, tell me, what was your first holiday like without Dad? What did Christmas feel like for you without Daddy?
I don't really know. It's just, I felt like I was left out.
You felt like you were left out? Yeah.
Because we didn't have Daddy as much.
You didn't have Daddy?
I really wanted him to stay alive. So when we transferred to school, I really wanted him to be there so he could be happy for me.
Yeah.
But he really wasn't there.
Yeah.
I thought I was left out too.
And so you felt left out. And it's a left out feeling, isn't it? And I know you shared one time and you were angry. Is that what you told me? Why were you angry?
Because I just wanted him to stay more alive.
Yeah.
Like, for a little bit more longer.
Yeah.
But God needed him to go.
But God needed him to go. And we've learned a lot in this process, right? And we've learned, Josiah, you said something important one time. How did this impact your faith? Because you grew up in a house with people who taught you to believe in healing. How did this impact your faith? Like, did it change how you believed in God?
I mean, a little bit.
Like what? What happened? We talked about some of this.
I mean, maybe kind of like with my allergies.
Yeah.
And like I stopped taking my medicine that I was supposed to take.
So even though dad passed, you didn't think God couldn't heal. Why? Like your dad just left.
I mean,
did it make you trust God more?
Yeah.
Okay. And Josiah took himself off all his meds and made a decision that he was going to walk in healing. And for me, it was really a big deal because he could have done something else. He could have not believed who God was. He could have not, and he chose to believe God anyway for his healing. Judah J, so what would you tell any parent whose kid has lost a parent or a grandparent or somebody that was really close to them? What would you share?
Nothing much, but like if he got you something and you never want to let go of it, you don't have to.
So like letting go. Oh, so show them monkey. So Jermaine bought Judah this monkey, and he's had it since he was 7 or 8 months. And he carries and he keeps this monkey with him. And we've tried to get him, because he is 8, to let this monkey go. But for him, he's like, I'm not letting monkey go because this is the thing that keeps me attached. And this is the thing that keeps me connected to dad. So he keeps holding on to monkey anyway, and monkey is his point of comfort. And so I'm just being honest with you, when you're dealing with your kids, allow them to process through this process at their speed. Oh, he has one more thing to say. You can say it. Allow them to process this at their speed.
And sometimes after like daddy died, my dad died, so I forgot about monkey. I left him under my mom's bed for like, I think like 5 or 6 weeks. And then when we were going out of town or something, I had to take him. Because I was feeling left out without daddy.
And so the monkey helped you feel or attach to or make you feel better to daddy. So I'm telling you, we couldn't do this without counseling. We could not do this without family. The holidays were really hard for us. I think the first Christmas we were at my son's because there was a new baby. But the second Christmas we went to Disneyland because we had gotten into counseling, and our counselors told us to break the monotony up, change it, do something a little bit different. What has it been like for you telling your friends that you don't have a dad? Like your dad is alive, because you're in school now, you're not homeschooled anymore, and kids ask you about your parents. What does that feel like when you have to share that you don't have your dad?
Well, like they have this look in their face of like it's like a fearful kind of look. Like,
yeah.
What do I say? Make sure, like, they trying to make sure they don't say the wrong things.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, when teachers or someone will say parents to me, and they kind of get, like, a scared look and, like, back off and be like, I'm your mom. And, like, it's kind of like, I'm not going to wig out or anything.
Yeah.
But I know they, like, some people will do that if you mess, like, with something.
Yeah. Does it ever make you feel, like, bad, though, sometimes, if they say parents and you know you have just one parent?
No, because I know, like, they're not trying to or anything.
Yeah.
Like, so I've learned to, like, just let it not affect me.
Bother you. But has it ever made you sad? Like, when people are talking about what they do with their mom and dad? It does. Because it's just mom. It's just us. All right. So
you, like, try to do your best, but, like, there's still some stuff you can't always do.
Don't start this. And I am giving it my all, and I am giving it my best. And I appreciate you, who you guys are as kids, and how patient you are with me through this process. One of the things that we used a program at Children's which was called Good Morning. The Good Morning program allowed us to do grief in a group setting. We were allowed to go through it. We saw other people who were grieving, and we had to do Good Morning. At first, I tried to facilitate this with just my faith. Like, I wasn't trying to facilitate this with help. I was just trying to do this on my own. And I had to put myself in the position and say, you know what? Somebody else has got to intervene with this so that I don't lose them. because I was in a very funky place, because I was in a position and a situation where I didn't really know how to communicate what was going on. I had to come in and use this good morning program and learn how to cope so that we could get through this, so that we could make transitions, because our family unit was strong, right? Our family unit was strong. Dad was a huge part. We did absolutely everything as a family. So that was very, very hard for us. So I'm going to make a little bit of a switch. So I'm just telling you, it looks different. It looks different at different ages. It looks different for my older kids. I remember every time I would ask one of my kids, what do you miss most about Dad? They would say, we miss his wisdom because he was so wise. And I remember one time Josiah came in the room and he said to me, he said, I know that he's gone. You remember when you told me that? He said, but my heart still searches for him. My heart is still longing for him and looking for him. Is there anything else you guys want to say to anybody about grief and what grief looks like? Or anything you want to tell them to encourage their kids? Because think about what it feels like to be a kid, to lose a parent, or to lose someone close to you. Is there anything else you want to share with them about that? Judah, say yes. What do you want to say?
But, you can tell them, don't give up on your dad. If he's dead, you can just be you can pray to God and say, I really want a new dad. And if you get him, but you can still believe in your old dad.
And so you can pray to God and ask for a new dad? Is that what you've done? Pray to God and ask for a new dad?
And he's not going to fill in, your dad's space.
So
he's just going to be like a substitute for him.
He's going to be a daddy here on earth. That's what we talked about. Okay. What about you, Josiah?
Well, for one thing, don't try to overdo yourself. And
that's
make sure
good.
you're where you can be and not where you can't.
What does that mean?
Where it will hurt you.
Yeah.
Because I'm grateful for what you can do.
You know I'm a wimp. Okay. Thank you. You know I'm a wimp. Okay. So you're grateful for what? So don't overextend yourself as a parent. Don't try to make up stuff or fill in the gaps. That's good. That's anything else? Anything?
So some of the parts that Josiah was saying I was about to say. But when he said you should be grateful when you're down here, not up there. Because if you go up there still, you're going to miss the people that are down here.
Yeah.
But still, if you still have people up there, you can believe in both of them.
You can believe in both of them. You can believe in someone down there and here. That's good, Judah J. Anything else about grief? Anything else about this process and what it's been like?
It's been hard, but
Okay.
we've now been having more joyful times, happy times.
Yes, yeah.
If you get through it,
The memories are there. You just gotta press and get through it. Okay. And so tell me this. Tell everybody this. What is it like to be LMJ's kids? What is that like to be LMJ's kids? What is that like?
Exciting because she has all this stuff to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't go, but sometimes we miss it. So
yeah,
we still can believe in faith in God because He's still our dad too.
Yeah. What about you, Judah? Josiah, what's it like to be LMJ's kid? Josiah said, what is it like?
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you're protective for a reason, and I know it's for good, but sometimes I want to go hang out with my friends, and I can't go do that.
Yeah, because I'm protected.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I don't want to let you spend the night anywhere.
Or even sometimes hang out.
Because why? What is my thing? I need to know their parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been with Noah for a long time.
Yeah.
And you never let me go spend time with him. Why? That's been my reason.
Like, why won't I let you go spend time with your friends? Because
Yes.
I just want to make sure you guys are always safe. And I want to make sure you guys are always protected. And because I feel like I'm all you have left, you know what I'm saying? Even though we have Uncle Curtis and Uncle Donnie, I just want to make sure you guys are always in a safe place. And Moo and Nana and your brothers, I just always want to make sure you're safe, not being taken advantage of. So it's not to keep you from having fun. It's just because...
Mama, but like you can come with us and have fun with us. And you can talk to our friends, mom or dad.
Okay, I'll work on that. I'll work on a better place of connecting.
And getting at school events.
And getting
and
and talking at school events.
socializing.
See, I tell people all the time I'm not as social. What did you just say?
Socializing.
Socializing at school events with other parents. So I've got to work on that for you guys. Socializing at school events for other parents. That's important for you guys.
And me and Noah were like the same people. His dad died too.
Yeah, and so it's good for you to be able to identify with someone. That's another part of the grief process. It's really hard being a widow and trying to find other widows to connect to and other people who understand your process. Because I looked up some data. I am 1.4% of the population. Widows are of single moms. And I said, wow, how rare am I? What are you laughing at? How rare am I at that? And so when you're a widow, that's a very rare position. So sometimes I'm uncomfortable talking to other people, especially when other people are married or being in positions or places with other people and dealing with other people. That's really a hard process for me. Jojo, you look like you want to share something. What else? Like anything else you want to share with them? Okay, come on, Judah. We got a little bit of time left.
So like, about like sickle cell camp, the golf, the walk.
Oh, sickle cell camp, the golf and walk.
Else,
yeah.
It's kind of hard to do because like sometimes you might need a little bit of help, but some people can't actually help.
So it's a lot hard on me, is what you're saying.
Like,
and how does that bother y'all? Well, when I'm working so hard or I'm trying to get things accomplished, how does that make you guys feel when I'm working so hard, or you feel like I don't have enough help?
It makes me kind of really irritated because I know there are people who who can and know they can, but who don't get in place where they need to be.
Mm-hmm. And so what about you, Judah?
Well, I'm kind of angry because, like, sometimes when you're out, people be doing stuff to you, and I really want to be there and slap the crap out of them. And sometimes...
Don't say crap.
And sometimes...
Don't say crap. Don't.
They are like 25, and she's 44.
Are you wait. Are you talking about men who tried to date me? And so does it bother you when men try to date me?
Yes.
Why? Why does it bother you?
Because they're probably like too young or something.
You don't want somebody too young dating me.
They're like 25, 20, 19.
Too young,
and
trying to...
44.
And I'm 44, and you don't want somebody young. Judah J tells it like it is. So he's just putting all my business out here. This was not rehearsed. So Josiah, you might as well chime in. You look like you got something to say over there. Come on.
Well, okay, you and dating, it's like...
Me and dating.
It's like, I want you to find somebody that you love.
Yes.
That is the right one for you, but like, still, it's kind of hard to see you, like... hugging somebody else or like up next to someone, because that's still not my dad.
Yeah.
And the person that you married, that's still like a little bit weird for me.
Yeah.
Saying that.
Yeah. Which is why I'm very protective and don't let people around you, right? And so if somebody gets the privilege to be at your table and around you, then I have to think that person is super special, correct? And you guys have had to accept that person to be very special, because when y'all don't like somebody or y'all don't feel like somebody is for us, y'all set the tone real early. Y'all are like, don't even, who's this friend? They don't get to be your friend. What were you going to say, Judah J?
Okay. if she is dating and she does not tell us and we don't find out who it is, I'm hunting the dang person down. Because if you don't bring him home and let us see and check him out, I'm calling Jaleel, Jamin, TJ, and Josiah.
So that you can check so that y'all can check out the person. Okay, I've learned new information today, which is really hard for a single mom, and especially a single mom that's a widow. This is funny. This is funny. I didn't know it was gonna go there. I didn't know it was gonna go this way for a single mom, and especially a single mom as a widow, to be able to introduce my kids to somebody because they don't have a dad, because they don't have somebody else to go to. There's no other parent. By the time I make the decision to bring you to the table, I promise you I've had to hear from God. You know what I'm saying? And we've prayed and we've talked about this a lot. They would rather get to know a person, but wisdom tells me I don't wait and bring the person to the table until I know that I've heard something from God. Do y'all understand that? So you may not get to meet a person until I know that God is talking to me about a particular person, Judah J. So you'll have to wait. That's wisdom.
But God might talk to me about him. And if I don't
So God may talk to you also. If you don't know about him, then God can't talk to you about him, is what you're saying. Spoken out of the age. So if he doesn't know about him, then God can't talk to him about him. You feel the same way? What are you laughing at? You feel the same way too? Well, we're almost out of time. Praise God. We're almost out of time. Praise God. Because they put the business out here. I knew I was taking the risk. I wanted to share with you a little bit about their grief process. It was a little bit rough in the beginning. I think they were scared, but I think they've now opened up a little bit more. Is there anything else that you want to share with the people? Is there anything?
God bless you.
God bless you. Josiah, any final parting words? Anything you want to say?
Any final parting words?
Yeah, any final parting words?
On the basketball team.
He is on the basketball team. We're headed to his basketball game in just a minute. Anything you want to say, you want to leave the people with? Any thoughts? Y'all, let's say this about Christmas real quick. You did something very powerful. My organization always sponsors a kid for Christmas. And sometimes our resources aren't really great. And we were talking about the family we sponsored and the other families that need. And Josiah, man, he blew my mind. And I was talking to you about what you wanted for Christmas. And what did you say to me?
A book.
One book. And why? And what else did you say?
I want the rest of the money that you would spend on me for to go towards that family.
To go towards that family. So he made a decision that whatever else, he wanted this one particular book, and whatever else, he wanted me to take that money and put it towards the families to make sure the money. Does it bother y'all to make sacrifices for others? No? Why?
Because God wants us to.
Because God wants us
He's
to.
not afraid to let us put it out there. So I'm
So-
not afraid either.
And so you're not afraid either, because you know God, how God supplies and take care of. Does that ever bother you, Josiah, that we make sacrifices for other people?
Because I know in the end, it's going to work out for our good and it'll look good.
And it's gonna look good, and we've been a blessing to other people. That's dope. I appreciate that totally. I appreciate you guys sitting through and allowing them to be our special guest. This was Judah J's request for his 8th birthday. Y'all shout my baby out. He is 8 years old today. He is the last of the Johnson crew, and he is something else. He is most vivacious. I appreciate. Share the video. It's a little. I'm just grateful that they could sit here. This was their very first, I promise you, of different interviews and conversations. So I hope that they get used to it, because there will be more. Anything you want to tell the people? Anything in hope and encouraging them? Y'all encourage me all the time. Anything you want to do to encourage the people before we go?
Make sure you spend time with your family during the holidays.
Make sure you spend time with your families. Don't isolate yourself during the holidays. That's really important during grief. Don't isolate yourselves. What about you, Judah J?
That, like, you don't really just give up to your family. Like, you should still believe in them, because you can't just give up when somebody dies. It's like, okay, it's over. So
don't give up.
Like you don't stop spending time with your family.
Yeah, because somebody died. You don't stop living because somebody died.
You don't just walk away from your family. You should stay with them and do more with them. Even when you have work, sometimes you have to back off work and spend time with your family.
Because your family has to take precedent over work. High five, Judah J. Make your family a priority. All right, from the words in the mouth of Judah Johnson and Josiah Johnson, I am LaKisha Johnson. We will see you back here. We will see you back here Monday morning for our daily devotional. Log on to the website, LaKishaMJohnson.com. Make sure you share this video live. And Judah's wisdom and Josiah's wisdom, share it with your kids. It may be a blessing to one of your kids to be able to hear their story, how they got the grief, apparently how they feel about me dating somebody 25 or 19. I've never dated anybody 25. I don't know why he keeps bringing up 25. I guess that's him letting me know that's too young for them. Make sure you log on and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Coffee and Conversations with LaKisha at Just Being LMJ. We'll see you back here next week. You know what I'm going to say. Make sure you go be loved today. Demonstrate God's love to someone else. I love you guys so much. I love you so much. Love, peace. Y'all can throw peace and blessings.